Hello, we are Kriyul, and today we're being interviewed by Schaden Collective.
School.
Yeah, we used to go to school together.
Went to school together for a long time.
We've known each other for years.
Which is, for better or for worse, a lot of the time, it's just leave it at that. It's not problematic for us, but maybe for the people
For other
around
people.
us.
This guy over here, I lived with him, and he introduced me to black metal.
Yeah, so at the time, I was working a nursing job, and I was working mostly evenings, and I'd come home regularly. And it was like around the time that summer that I had discovered through just hanging out with a lot of friends, just kind of in general some of the core black metal bands, and between metalhead circles online and whatever, one I'd see get thrown around a lot all the time was Dark Throne, and it was In the Shadow of the Horns, and there was something about just the image of it which captivated me. So I ended up coming home one day and I was listening to it, and I fell in love with that fucking record, and every single day driving to work I would listen over and over again to that fucking record, that album. And I think it was around after that where I kind of just started listening to it a lot. We were both living in the apartment, and getting more and more into it and discovering a lot of the second wave stuff. A lot of the funnier sides of the second wave stuff too, and then kind of introduced you to that. You had already been on your own musical path for a while.
Yeah, I've been playing music for a long time. I was trying to learn guitar for at least a year before we moved in to that place. And what happened after he listened to that music and he got into it, we found the one-man depressive suicidal black metal documentary, and that's when he showed me that. And after that I decided I was going to make some of that music myself, and that's where that formed. Eventually, about 4 or 5 months into it, he asked me to be the vocalist that appears on some tracks, and he has appeared on many tracks, although not all of them.
Yeah, and a lot of learning too, and a lot of also growing into music, because it can make it sound like we've had this expansive history since we've started. But I mean, the way I started was literally just finding different drum patterns and drum tracks, and then just recording the actual amp sound and trying to line it up on BandLab. So learning how to use interfaces and digital audio workstations, and a lot of just techniques to actually get the music produced, and literally learning music through such a good genre too.
Well, when I started this, all I wanted was to get emotions out and tell people the things I believe, have somebody listen to me unfiltered, and that's all I'm ever going to do. So wherever that takes this band, that's where it's going to go. I don't play music on a framework. I play music through what I hear it should go to. If I'm playing a riff and I hear that I feel like it should go higher or lower, I'll push it higher or lower. If I'm playing a melody and I think that making a little dissonance will sound good, that's what I'll do. But if that means that the sound changes entirely, that it does. And in the very beginning of our music, you can hear completely different sounding guitar tones, completely different sounding drums and screaming styles, and that was intentional. The ultimate goal with Kriyul is to play whatever I want to play however much of it comes out of me, and we'll see where that goes. My ultimate goal was to have 1,000 listeners, and we've long since passed that, so I don't know anymore.
It just continues to be daily fulfillment. As I say, there's no drug on the planet like just that response to your music and getting to regularly hear what people think about that, and it's honestly what keeps it possible. And the music is definitely what drives a big part of my life. I know you probably feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. I just play a lot. I used to play and try to make a new song every single day, but I have a new band in person through guys I met through college, and that's been taking a lot of my time away. But I still play very regularly, and I just make music because that's what I like to do. Well, at the beginning, all I had was this and a Mustang GTX 100 that you can't see. But ever since then, I've got access to electronic drum kits, audio interfaces, different plugins for everything. And I've been getting better at mastering, mixing. But basically, what we've come down to at this point is I'll write the instrumentals and he'll take care of vocals. But for the album Y and this new album, Artifact, it's just me.
I'd say vocally on my end, and especially for just a lot of the energy of some of the tracks that I kind of try and lead us in the direction of doing. I always have listened to a lot of the more extreme kind of sounding things. I really like 10th Sublevel. Leviathan is amazing. There's a lot of old second wave stuff that I like, and a lot of black and thrash. I really like a lot of the stuff that is very good at being angry, but also in a sort of like powerful way, and then sometimes that clashes and meets along with the side of a lot of music you like, which is very like powerful and like a very like atmospheric and dissonant way. So it's really interesting because I think we both like see those values in music. I know I shoot for a lot of the aggressive stuff. I know you can vouch for a lot of that. Like all the stuff I listen to is the very... I mean, just lately I started listening to, and these guys are really, really good, but Morrow of Man, and his stuff is very, very thrashy, very speedy, and also, if I can look to, I didn't know about these guys for a long time. Didn't discover them until recently, and I love listening to a lot of black thrash. But Witch Haven's awesome. So I like a lot of the higher energy stuff, and I pull a lot of my vocal stuff from there, literally just from like how it started. I used to just go and drive in the car every day and just fucking growl along to these songs. So that's kind of my value of it, I guess, is how I see it.
Well, with my metal bands and influences, when I started, all I had to heard was mostly him playing his guitar in his room, playing Freezing Moon and Dunkelheit, and that's about all I heard when I started. But very quickly, people like Funeraria, Velpire very much influenced me, and that's expanded many more underground bands you may not know I listen to, but I do, and even some of the more classic stuff. But more than that, it's not just black metal that influences me. People like Stevie Ray Vaughan, different country bands I grew up with. I grew up listening to Godsmack and Motley Crue. Yep. Those are the bands that definitely influenced me.
That was a big start of our friendship, and it's something I can never really glide over, but yeah, thrash was a big part of my upbringing, and a lot of vocal stuff I like, and that high energy, I think, because that's my relationship to metal. It was very much with my dad all the time, listening to Metallica and Megadeth and Anthrax and all of these old bands, and it was like a really, really informative era, especially for my taste and what later got me into this extreme music. And so it's like I wouldn't have discovered any of that if it weren't for thrash. And I'll always fucking Slayer. I will always love Slayer. So
I don't look at it that way. I don't look to place myself in the black metal landscape. I look to place myself wherever I go. Kriyul is its own landscape.
yeah. It's hard to see black metal as much of a fucking landscape anymore with the way it seems to operate, and there's a lot of contention. I feel like it's very obvious that you could see that we have with it and with the genre and just the opinions all over the place of what it should and shouldn't be. I know at the end of the day what's gonna be played through this band is just what we believe is authentic black metal, and between techniques, and you can tell with a lot of the diversity in the sounds of our songs and everything, just how different that can be every time I approach. And it just means that it's always going to be what we feel like we can put out through our influences and through our virtues and just our understanding of reality, that music that's always going to, no matter what, it's going to be angry, and it's going to be raw and violent. And I think that's very much what the band is. I mean, it's very much, it's a blade.
Depends what kind of pizza. Generally, no.
People are like, pineapple on pizza?
Mine, I have to say, it might not be 10, 15 years, it might be just outside of it, but Satan Prometheus by Gorgoroth for sure.
Last 10 to 15 years for me, probably, and might be a controversial take here because I don't know how many people are going to see it as black metal, but I really, really like Arnott Pavle, and I can't remember if the album's called Transylvanian Glare, but I know that there's some tracks on that album that are just amazing. They do really well at keeping that like cult sound and that cold, like dissonant sound, while also just being like really like good riff. It sounds so good, and it's for the era that it's in. You know what I mean? It like. That's my hope for a lot of like metal and what metal can become going forward, is it can still hold to like those sounds and those atmospheres while still being inventive with its style, because that's why I like it so much. And for those of you who are confused and don't know what I'm talking about, it's a crust punk thing, but it's black and crust, and it's like just really, really good, powerful, like shreddy riffs, just the right amount of dissonance and atmosphere, and it's really good. You should check it out.
Very good. I would endorse as well. I might not even be with this band anymore. This band may be playing something completely different. This band might be the exact same as it's always been. I don't know. The music will take me where it goes.
The band's gonna be where it needs to be in 5 years.
We're definitely working on something. We're coming up with a single after this.
Right after this.
Right after this. We'll be playing till midnight at least. But yes, other than that, there's an album I'm working on. It's called Artifact. Some of the tracks are already out. I have to recommend Unrighteous as the first one. That's his favorite. And my favorite is the newest one that came out, Razors and Nails.
And probably beyond that in the future, I'd say just a lot more single releases and stuff from you and I. A lot of the way we like to release our stuff whenever we do anything together is in single releases or in EPs and just shorter releases, because a lot of our music together tends to be very much aggressive and just single kind of concentrated projects that we try to sort of sprinkle in between these bigger releases.
We don't get much time to do it either because we don't get to see each other much.
Yeah, and it helps that a lot of these bigger releases and these bigger albums are very, very much big journeys and very, very big just atmospheric sort of transportations to other places. And then a lot of the music we do together is where we really like to just fucking rock out and, make something that's heavy and just punches.
Definitely.
So it's been a good pattern, and it works for both of us creatively, and I think it's something that could definitely be expected in the future.
Oh yeah.
A lot of work too over the summer probably to be done, so I know there's a lot during the summer we'll probably be working on with the time, and definitely a lot of fun releases is what I see.
Oh yeah.
Always, right?
Yeah, whatever I feel like doing, I'll do. Sometimes I'll take the amp feedback and I'll try to work something out of that. Sometimes I'll start with a simple riff idea, just start playing, and whatever comes out, I'll make a song out of that. Sometimes he'll have an idea for singing, and I'll try to make a song based off that. I think that's where Faith came from. One of our better songs, by the way.
I've always had approaches to vocals where it's like every time that I get to sing on something, I'll always try to approach it differently and see kind of how it can be handled, just a range of sounds. And you know, there's even been like songs lately where it's like some of those screams and everything have just been for the sake of like proving how violent this band can sound. And so it's like really trying to push that envelope of like aggressiveness over this just kind of groovy, interesting, like American, you know, melodic sensation we put behind this genre of music. So, which for some reason people like, which is like scary.
That's the craziest part. We never thought we'd get more than 18 listeners at a time. They can find me on any streaming service. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer if you want to.
I'm just a big listener of the genre, and I also enjoy a lot of avant-garde art and a lot of things that this sort of sphere has to offer. So I have social media as well. You can find me on Instagram, it's Nampat Black Metal, and yeah, just throughout both of those accounts is where we post most of everything. And besides that, music should speak for itself. It's uploaded regularly, so if you click that bell and turn it on, you'll always see. And I mean, you're posting there regularly, and
yeah,
definitely bringing in traffic. So
we've been Kriyul, and if you're a Kriyul fan, make sure you go to our Bandcamp page at kriyul.bandcamp.com, because there we may have a cassette release coming soon, and as you can see, we may have things for you to wear as well. So be sure to check out our Bandcamp. You can download the music, you can support us financially, maybe get us better equipment, sound better. But if you like our music, that's definitely one way to go download it and have higher quality versions.
Other than that, time to go fucking slather my face up with paint and make some kick-ass music.
Thank you, Schaden Collective, for interviewing Kriyul. We are very honored that you've been our first interview.